Let's turn to the problem of sexual violence here at home. As you know, the Pentagon recently released a report that found a 50% increase in reports of military sexual assaults. How do you read this report? Some are saying it illustrates that more victims are simply coming forward. Others say it means the military has just not adequately addressed the problem. How do you see
Well, I
this?
think both. I think clearly the military hasn't adequately addressed the problem. I don't think it's necessarily a new problem. I think women, for years in the military, have had to salute their abusers because the military and the respect for the chain of command, which I have as well, but has meant that women have been afraid to come forward, that their superiors could, make sure that they don't get the kinds of advancement that they get in the military, et cetera. But I also believe that women are now feeling that they can step forward. I think this is also true with the increase in reports on campuses, that women just aren't going to take it anymore. And that this kind of neglect and disrespect, even when they do come forward, is completely unacceptable. We are hearing horror stories of young women on very prestigious campuses that are coming forward and telling their stories and finding that it's discouraged, that the campuses, the universities don't want to have a reputation that is besmirched in any way, and so they want to keep it quiet. In the military, there's a real struggle going on. Is this going to stay within the chain of command, or is there going to be some outside adjudicatory body that is going to look at this and be able to have a more independent view of who's doing what and what the punishments ought to be? I myself think that women should be able to go outside that chain of command for some sort of relief from the sexual assault.
But if I'm not mistaken, Senator Kirsten Gillibrand, who advocated that same position that prosecution of sexual assault should be taken out of the military chain of command and be done by independent military prosecutors, I believe that her legislation or bill did not pass. So where does that stand, or can that be reintroduced?
Yeah, nothing is ever dead. It can always be reintroduced. And I think there is this growing feeling that women in these respected institutions, the military and academia and on college campuses, is what I mean, have not been treated properly by those institutions. So I don't think the issue is dead. We may have to start with more enforcement within the military as it is right now, but I think the idea of taking it to a more independent body is actually the right way to go.
And what other measures or policies do you think should be adopted, Congresswoman Schakowsky, to change the rather chauvinistic culture that permeates the U.S. military and to empower women?
Well, I certainly think the academies have to be very clear in how we train individuals who want to be officers in the military. I think that also goes through the enlisted men and women, that there has to be training. What we've seen, for example, on campuses is sometimes there's a 2-hour presentation for freshmen when they come in, and that's the end for the rest of the 4 years or however long they're on campus. I think that these kinds of things, both in the military, in schools, has to be ongoing. I think that's also true, by the way, in public schools, kindergarten through 12th grade, that we have to talk about how boys and girls are equal, how they should be treated, what it means when someone says no. And there's another element, and that's alcohol, which certainly on campuses is a factor. And enforcing against underage drinking, I think, is very, very important. But by no means should the presence of alcohol exempt a young man from culpability when there is a true sexual assault.